All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our OESL recap. This is week number 2 is just finished. We're about to go into week number 3. If you watched the first episode, thank you so much for supporting. We're going to kind of do something similar here. And I will say, keep out or watch our socials, and whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you follow us on, we're going to be producing a clip that kind of weekly podcast that is not by David and I, but will be by RDS Media, our weekly streams. So they're going to do their own podcast. I think they're going to do some interviews. So stay tuned for that. And I think, David, I think we're going to get into some recaps of our games. Is that right?
Yeah, well, we're going to start off with some SSBU events so that we're kicking it off with something that everyone needs to pay attention to now. While most of our games, the registrations are closed, registrations are very much open here on the dashboard for coaches for Smash events. I know it's a new place, but we want you all through Smash to start learning how to register for events on the dashboard because that's where it will move. I know right now, you look at my team's list here for Smash Brothers, and this is what is frustrating most of you for sure. I do understand that. Know that I've spoken with the developers of League OS. A fix is coming where you can actually and truly hide most of these teams that are old or bad data. So that's going to be nice. So you only see the teams that you can register, but you can just come in, find the correct team, and register it here. We have 6 teams registered for this Southwest Regional. That's the next one coming up on Tuesday. So I'll be pinging tomorrow all the Southwest coaches that have not signed up yet. You need to get signed up by tomorrow if possible.
And tomorrow meaning Monday.
Oh yeah, I forget we're on
Tuesday.
a podcast here where you might be watching it in 3 months, but yes, tomorrow being let's get even more Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Get registered by then. You can see here though, it shows you when the registration closes, which is nice. You have till tomorrow night. And yeah, so you register your team for that. And then we have also the Southeast Regional coming up. That is at ECU. That's on September 26th. So that's also coming up this week, this Friday. The middle school West Regional, remember middle school's formats changed this year. You have regionals where you attend the regional that your school is in. So the West Regional is this Saturday on September 27th at Robin Hill Elementary. And you need to get registered for that as soon as possible. Robin Hill Elementary is in Norman. And then we have the Northeast Regional. That is on, it looks like September 27th at Kellyville. That's coming up on, coming up soon as well. Yeah, also this Saturday. And then another middle school regional, the East Regional, and that is going to be at Brushy in Salisaw on October 3rd. So that registration is also now open. And remember, from those 2 regionals for middle school, the top 32 teams, or players, I should say, my bad, the top 32 players will get, will advance to the area, which will be held at U.S. Grant High School. So be sure to find those dates on the calendar. It's on the Calendly. But just kind of wanted to go through this so you know what's up and coming for our in-person events. All these are in person, so feel free to reach out and ask questions if you're new to this and unaware of how to get going with this. But I will be at Wynnewood Tuesday, so I'll see you all on Tuesday that are coming to that. So now I guess the recap is something I'll also go through, and that's next. So no transition there, but we'll start off with Rocket League Varsity. We're getting down to 2 undefeateds already in some of these smaller groups, which is kind of nice. It's nice to see some, I should say new, but like returning schools up here at the top right now. Poto has kind of been in and out of the league, but they've returned this year, and Dove Science Academy, also out of Tulsa, is returning this year, and so they're sitting pretty up at the top of 1A and Class 2A. We've got 3 teams at the top. The top 2, Moore and Noble, will be playing this week. It's going to be a tough test for both teams on that.
They have a little bit of history, don't they?
They do, yeah. We last year Noble and Moore played in round 1 of the playoffs, and it was best of 5, best of 7. No, it was best of 7, and Moore took the first 3 games off Noble, and then Noble came back and reverse swept. So, yeah, a little bit of history there. Definitely a tough rivalry. Should be a good matchup. And then you'll have Bixby taking on Jinx here because they've already played Midwest City and Enid, I believe. And so the Swiss scheduling working there on that. So we should be down to just one undefeated even in Class 2A this week, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. We move on to Valorant, down to 3 undefeateds in 1A. That's Salina, Sequoia, and Shoto. And then we have Class 2A has a ways to go still before they get rid of all undefeateds. Actually,
It's
yeah,
about 2
no,
weeks or so, 3 weeks.
I think so. We're waiting on one matchup still, unfortunately, there. That's why there's a 1-0 there, but we'll get that resolved soon and get that schedule posted. But you'll likely see this might end up a clean Deer Creek versus Jinx, Owasso versus Moore potentially for the next week. But be sure to stay tuned for that schedule. It will come out ASAP. And rivals, there's quite a few teams, so we have a lot of probably a couple more weeks before we get a single undefeated there. So Shoto, Sequoia, Atoka, and Buffalo Valley up at the top, Class 1A, and then 2A has a few more teams. So we've still got at least a 2A tie with a game loss here and a couple game losses separating that top 5 that would be all tied for first. So we got Owasso, Southmore, Enid, Yukon, Booker T, and then more rounding out the top teams of the 1-1 team. So getting some decent data in there, which is nice. They've added a few fields in for if you've been taking score, they've added a couple of the fields in and they've put them. I'm 90% sure I requested it and the ticket got closed, so they should be in the right order, the order they are on the scorecard, so you can actually just hit tab through there and get those stats in a
Yeah.
little easier.
And I'll mention Owasso, they seem to always be at the top when it comes
Yes.
to Valorant. So,
Well, this is
probably the
rivals, but yeah,
Rivals. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well,
But
I think
still,
I think
I think
they
they're at
are
the top
the reigning champ
of
um
Valorant.
and Marvel Rivals for a different league.
Oh,
So,
okay, nice.
um so they are rocking and rolling. So they're the team to beat as far as rivals go. And they are a powerhouse in Valorant. So,
Oh yeah, and I will say I did witness the game versus Noble. I'm there scoring for Noble every day or every game week, so I'm watching that as a spectator, and they were close matches. Noble basically took it to overtime and I think 2 of the games, and then one of them they just got behind too much at the beginning, and I think it was on Convoy, and it was just kind of over before it started on that third game. But yeah, we took 2 of them. I forget the game modes, but yeah, we took the first 2 to overtime. So, um,
and I'll mention something else about Marvel
sure.
Rivals. We did decide, there was
Oh,
we're a league of the people, as some might say. So we had enough outcry that to reduce the amount of series or games in a series. So we
yeah.
were doing best of fives, and the games were taking 2 hours, hour and a half plus, 2 hours plus. So we decided that in the interest of everybody's time, best of 3 is going to suffice for Marvel Rivals. Um, it'll probably continue on through the playoffs, and maybe we will extend in the playoffs to best of 5. We'll see how timing goes, but so I just want to mention that we, enough people complained about it that hey, we need to change this. Since I'm not in the minutia of all the games, I'm glad people can speak out and say, hey, we want this fixed and we would like this changed, so we can, you know, that's
Yeah, we
something we
won't
do.
tip
We're not so set in our ways that we can't change.
right. We won't typically change like a major rule. It's going to change how the competition's going um, mid-year unless or mid-season, I should say, unless it's like when Apex they did away with the whole game mode and then we had to just completely shift gears. But yeah, going from 5 to 3, we don't think will affect it all that much. And it's, I mean, yeah, best of 5 is the way it should be played. That's the way Overwatch was played last season, and it worked out timing wise. But we're discovering pretty quickly that Overwatch and Rivals don't have as much overlap as we thought, and so these games are taking. if it went to all 5 games, it was taking anywhere between 2 and 2.5 hours, which, um, granted is maybe like a football night or something, but, you know, it's still it's quite a bit, especially when we have a game that follows it right after at about 6 p.m. So if we're expecting them to make it there on time, I feel like we need to make sure they have time to do that. So yes, we did drop that down. And then last but not least, Rainbow Six Siege in varsity. Um, well, when I say that, we'll talk about another varsity title, but as far as looking at standings, we'll look here, and Rainbow Six Siege has less teams as well, so they'll be reaching an undefeated team next week, and we'll talk about that again, like I said. So we have Bixby and Jinx in Class 2A at the top, and then in 1A we have Cash. Not unsurprising, as they're also the reigning champs, if I'm not mistaken, of 1A, and Sequoia Poto, um, hot on their trail. Um, so yeah, the last title is Call of Duty, and we know there's been a lot of tech issues. I don't know if you want to go into that. You actually dealt with that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's Call of Duty, just for everyone's sake, is one of the games that I love. I've played for a long time. It's a passion of mine. It's a pretty big esport, but the publisher, I think that's the right term, Activision, just doesn't seem to care about their game. They're pretty money
Competitively, anyway.
competitively, yeah, and
They care about rainbow skins, or not, like unicorn skins, and
yeah,
like, more than making the competitive good.
yeah,
So
and so people are struggling to get in the lobbies. The lobbies are breaking, dropping. Um, they can't get all the players in, and maybe some of that is some user error, but it's on the developer and the publisher to make a game that's a little bit more intuitive. You're appealing to the masses, so it's nice to have a game that works and can appeal to anybody, and anybody can pick up a controller or pick up their keyboard and mouse and play the game. But um, not making it intuitive, and then, like I said, lobbies breaking. There's just being bugs. Um, Teams are loading in, and when they get to the game, they realize, hey, not everybody on my team is who I'm supposed to be with, and not everybody on some of my teammates are on the other team. So to overcome that, you can go into the settings and override to allow team switching. It's unfortunate. We've dealt with Call of Duty bugs as Click Gaming has when we do events for years. I mean, there was a time when the score wouldn't even be right. You'd win the round, and then guess what? Well, it actually gave your score to the other team. So there's just been bugs and bugs, and this could possibly be the last year that that Call of Duty is offered as a varsity title for OESL. It's just too much of a strain on people, and hard enough being a rated M game for schools to play anyways.
yeah. Yeah, and that seems so odd to me too, is Rainbow Six is rated M as well, and you see that we have plenty of teams. So I don't know, but yeah, it's just, I think, like you said, tack that on with the bugs, and there's bugs every iteration. Black Ops 6 just somehow got worse. But but yeah, so we just wanted to touch on that a little bit, and then
We
we
also have
wanted to
another
talk.
varsity,
Yeah.
yeah, about Fortnite,
Yeah.
right? Fortnite is going to be playing this week for
Yes,
high school players.
that's correct.
So if you have high school students and they're in Fortnite, they're registered. We're playing Tuesday. Be in the voice channel at 4 o'clock, ready to go. We're going to try and start as early as possible after 4, hopefully
Hmm.
4:15 or so. So make sure you're in there by 4 and that your players are ready to go by 4. If you are a little late, you can probably hop into the second game if need be. And
Yeah,
then
and
I
we had
think
a
you were going
ton.
to go over some stuff right over
Yeah, we did.
Fortnite,
Yeah, and
right?
we had a lot of not issues, but just everyone learning how to connect last week, and even starting 30 minutes late. It took only an hour and a half, so I just expect that time to come down a little bit. But like I've said from the start, keep in mind, try and keep your players, let them know, their parents know, whoever, that it's going to potentially last until 6, so that you don't have to like have some players go home or something. Um, but yeah, we were going to talk about. So I've pulled up the match page on the old site, and the main thing we're going to talk about was um,
Rosters, right? I
the
think.
scoring. Yeah, the scoring and the roster. So um, on middle school, we actually got a file that pulled in that had all the position eliminations, and I just have to match up names. And I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. Actually, I know I'm showing you here on the admin side, but or actually, I don't have to. I think I can show it here. Okay. So we were able to get these files, and the nice thing is when I click on it, if the name in this is the name in the game over here, over on the left, and if the name, if they had it connected either via Epic, as you can see here, this player had the Epic connected, it automatically matched them up. Or if the name just matched what was in the game in League OS, then it automatically matched them up, which was super helpful for matching the data up. And you can see there's quite a few in middle school though, because they have a lot of detached accounts that weren't that way. So that's going to be its own issue. But I just wanted to show that because this week we've got it figured out now that we've done the middle schools as well. You can see the new lobby is up. The biggest thing is I'm not picking on coaches or teams when I do this, but I've got to illustrate the issue that comes up, and that is
Well,
so a team.
let's
What's
see.
that?
The first issue would be what you have way too many players on your teams,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
you need to have your teams,
So it could
selected with
be,
your roster with the correctly.
yeah, like Southeast here um, has way more than 2 players, and I understand why for subbing purposes. But it's kind of like when you go to the Smash events and you set a player to active or inactive. If you just set all the players that aren't playing to inactive, then it will only show those 2 players rather than everybody on your team. Plus, the other issue here is when the players are on both teams, like you can see here, whenever I try to match up the data in the drop downs I showed you, it's going to show Soggy Cereal twice, and it's not going to tell me which team that Soggy Cereal was on. So if they're on both teams, it's going to be really difficult for me to match that data up. So we could use a lot of help from coaches in getting these matches scored faster. We're not going to have last week scored before we start the second week because there's just a lot to match up here. So the closer you all can get to having the proper players on the team and just the 2 that are there and not very many more, unless you know you're going to have someone sub that week, it would be super helpful. It's a lot less names to sort through. There's a lot less chance for, again, Sam and Crazy Ridge right here. If they could just be not on that team, then it would be real easy for me to match that data up. But right now, all I see is Sam and Crazy Ridge twice, and I can't tell what team they're on whenever I match up the data. So,
And it'll get scored incorrectly, and
right,
then
I'll
you
get
won't
score.
get the
Yeah,
points that you need.
we'll yeah we'll end up with something here like what I saw with Edison in game 1, and this isn't a fault of them. It's just the way I matched up the data. Of course, I'm not going to find it quickly when I'm
Right,
trying to
just
show
over,
you
just
all.
past it, just past it,
Did I? Did I?
right there.
Oh, okay. So it's not even the right game. It was on the middle school stuff. But anyway, regardless, it makes it tough to match up the data whenever all that isn't correct. And the more that is like named the same as in game, the the less we have to do, and the more automatic this is for everybody. And don't forget to be checking in. I can, as an admin, I can see everybody's team, but luckily for you as coaches, you'll only see your team here. So if you can be sure to like just check in just the players that are there that day. I don't even know which players are there, but um, I'm clicking on, those, but you just check them in whenever we're in the checking in phase, and then that will help us tremendously. Even though you're in a voice chat and uh, your players are logging into the lobby, you all as coaches can be on here and checking them in and everything on a computer. So whatever computer you're on for Discord. So um, I hope some of that was helpful. I know kind of went through a lot on that, but it's a beast to get scored. So any help that we can get just working together as a one big team would be helpful.
Yeah, because we're trying to match up data for close to 100 people, so it's
Yeah.
it's a lot. So any help that we could get is beneficial. And this year, and since we did one lobby week 1, we were going to continue the streak of one lobby into week 2 for high school. So first come first serve. Make sure you're getting in there, checking in with David.
Yeah.
Um, we might have to ask some JV players to drop, and it may be a random number generator or whatever to get them to drop, and they can swap in with other JVs. Game 2, but first come first serve for the varsity teams, and then Whatever's left, we'll fill in with JV if possible. But we can only accept 50 teams, 50 duos. So
Yep, and we had 39 of 50 last week of 50 possible duos. So we don't anticipate that, but we just wanted you all to know that there's going to have to be a way that we determine, and we're just going with first come, first serve on your second team, so being able to play. So, yeah.
And I think we expect. I think you're going to try and stream this week, right? With a delay.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll put it in the chat. We wanted to be sure before we put a channel in there, and then you guys maybe couldn't see it. We'll put it in the streaming. We have I believe it's under the community tab, OESL community, and then stream matches on Discord. We'll put it in there, but um, it'll be on the NHS Bears Esports Twitch, and we'll stream from that. I got used to how to spectate while we were doing the middle school match last week, and so I believe I have it set up now where we can go ahead and do that and stream these. We'll have a fairly significant delay, so that there's less chance for screen peeking, but we know it's helpful. It's kind of like going dark once they go in and start playing. You can only see your team, and as soon as your team's out, you don't know what's going on until you know. So even though it'll be on a delay, you'll at least be able to see kind of what's going on in the match still, to a degree. So we hope that helps out. It'll just be a stream with just the game audio. There won't be any casters or anything, but
but you will be switching between players and just
yeah,
overall decent vantage point. And
yeah. And this is also a limitation from the publisher again, right? It's just the spectator tools aren't as good as they are in other games. You can't tell. You can see the gamer tags, but you can't tell what team is what really. So unless their gamer tags are Capitol Hill High School 3, we can't really tell.
yeah, I think you can tell that they're on a team, but they don't have a team name. It'll just be
Correct.
team.
Yeah.
May not even say, they'll just be matched by color.
Which makes casting a little bit harder, not even knowing what team you're talking about. But yeah, we'll be switching around between players, doing some drone shots in game and all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, there
Yeah.
won't be any casting. So yeah.
I was going to talk a little bit about like rematch in smaller groups.
Okay.
So I think you had mentioned in Rocket
Yeah.
League that we're getting close to the end. So the way Swiss works, you play people based on your record, and it's kind of random if people have the same record. Like if multiple, more than two have the same record. So it's a little random, but once we get to one undefeated, um, the Swiss has kind of already done its job.
Yeah.
And since we have not enough teams to make it where we have to narrow down quite a few, the Swiss will start to pair you with people that you haven't played already. So you may be playing a lesser opponent. I say lesser opponent with a lower record than you.
Yeah.
But Swiss can break sometimes and throw some bugs out. So make sure that you're watching your matchup. If you've played your matchup already, please try to let us know, so that we can try to fix that. We will be looking for it as we continue, but we're human. We make mistakes. So we may miss it, and you may get paired up with somebody you already played. So make sure you let us know that that's happening. Now, if you've already played them and they may have forfeited against you, that is a different matchup. That would be something we'd probably discuss as a board to move on through. So
Yeah. And it typically happens at the bottom more than at the top, because the top will keep getting like a higher and higher win count typically. And the bottom, you'll usually have a couple teams that are like 0 and something, or 1 and 7, or 1 and 6. And so if there's two teams that constantly are 1 and 6, it'll keep trying to pair them up, and that's what we
especially
have
if they
to.
forfeit against
Yeah,
each other.
especially if they forfeit. That's where forfeits really hurt. So, but yeah, but we have enough teams generally that we can usually try to make sure we can move that around a little bit so that you're not constantly playing, and it can help break ties also, what I mean, if we can get those matchups to where you're playing a team you haven't played. So
And next, we use a home and away just like traditional sports.
yeah.
So when you're in your match, you're going to get assigned home or away. That is completely random. It's based on a coin flip. As mentioned in the Discord by David,
Yeah.
that's how we used to do it. We used to do, even in the, amateur scene, we do coin flips on Google to determine, home and away. But in League OS, it does it for you. It tells you who's home and who's away, and it's based every time we generate a round. You get home or away, and that
Yeah.
we follow the rules. So it's completely random. So if you do get it more than several times in a row, um, you know that's unfortunate. I think Noble won. It's probably happened to other teams, but one year with
Yeah.
Noble, they got it 5 times in a row. They got away. So
Yeah, and I'm kind of clicking around. There's just a few teams. It's not just Wynnywood. That's who mentioned it, but Rock Creek first week, second week was away. Oh, now they have a bye this week, so it's not a good one to look at. But Sequoia got home the first 2 weeks, and then now this third week they got away. So it does move. It is random, but by things being random, I mean, think about when you flip a coin, you can get heads 3, 5, 10 times in a row. That's either
very
lucky or
low chance,
unlucky.
but yes,
What's that? What?
very low chance, but yes,
Yeah,
it's
very
very
low
likely.
chance. Yeah, I mean, the higher you go with that number, the lower the chance of that. Um, but anyway, so
And
yeah,
and and as far as like, there's not a huge advantage or disadvantage to being home and away. Yes, there is maybe a slight advantage to being home. Um, you get to pick your side, but as far as picks and bans go for maps, you like in best of one, and that's is one of the unfortunate things about best of one and the game
yeah,
taking a long time is you don't get to experience the home team if you're away every time. But it is fairly balanced. I mean, you both get 4 bans in the map pool, and as team 2 or usually the away team, they get to pick the last map or the map out of the last 2 choices. So they do get a little bit of like a little bit of treatment there. But
yeah,
team 1 or typically the home team does get to pick which side they want. So there is a little bit of a disadvantage there, but it's fairly minimum.
yeah. Yeah, we love, like I said, we love getting feedback, love the
Hmm.
questions, love to try and answer those questions in this podcast. It's kind of what this is going to be more for going forward, this kind of just recap of the week and just addressing things we've seen come up throughout the week. Patch notes, there are none this week, so we were able to skip that uh, and then
Deep
yeah,
dive
just
into a
kind of
little more into the information.
yeah.
Well, do you have anything else we want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think that covered it.
Okay, well, this has been the OESL Week 2 recap. I'm Evan, and I got David here. Thank you guys so much, and we'll tune in next week.
See ya.